I'm going ahead and start.
Okay.
All right, guys. One chance, one sound. Here with cousin highlighter Toya.
And
So we just finished watching Us. This is my second time watching the movie. First time not in the theater. How many times have you seen it now? It was just
3.
third. That's your third time.
Mm-hmm.
So just wanted to talk about the movie on camera a little bit because it was quite interesting. So what do you actually? Okay, so let me ask you this: what did you think the first time you saw the movie? Like, what was your thoughts?
as far as like,
When you left the theater, you know, you obviously knew the hype going into the movie. Like, what did you feel about the movie?
it was different than what I expected. From the previews, it looked like it was like more like a home invasion type of movie.
Okay.
Obviously, it wasn't.
Okay. Yeah. Not really home invasion.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was.
So did you think it was a good movie? Like.
Oh yeah.
So
100%.
like
It was a good
A,
movie.
B, C. Like, how would you grade it off the first time?
I would give it an A. The first time, yeah.
First time an A.
Like an A minus.
Okay.
An A minus.
So that's pretty good. I think the first time I saw it, I think I definitely gave it a C.
Oh.
Like it was disappointing the first time I saw it because
Really? Why?
Yeah, because it was one of the movies that the previews were so good and like I was really like, oh man, this is gonna have a lot of action and suspense and while it had the suspense, I didn't really understand like what was happening. Like I felt like I was watching too much to process. That's kind of like what I thought about it. And so it was like there was a lot of unfulfilled things that like, hey, what's going on in these tunnels? Where do these people come from? Basic questions. Who got the rabbits? How are they breeding the rabbits? I just felt like there was too many questions that weren't answered.
As far as like the rabbits go, rabbits breed quickly.
Yeah.
So that question's done.
Yeah.
It's
yeah, and you kind of put me up on that. There was something else about the first time I saw the movie. I think I missed some parts. I think I must go in a restroom or something. Because some of the Lupita's character, like I missed some of their interactions, and just some of the things she says. I didn't really pay attention to it. But now, so you've seen it now 2 other times since then. Still A minus?
Oh, A plus.
A plus?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm
99%.
going to say this movie definitely is like a B plus now. Solid B plus. Man, like the suspense is crazy. I think just being able to understand and not worry about how the movie's going to end, so being able to pay attention more to details, which is like the subtlety of the foreshadowing of the movie, like the ambulance in the beginning, the connection between the son, even Adelaide's breathing and how that changed and how she couldn't talk. Like those are things that I think I missed the first time around. So like watching it this time, like that was on point. I was really, really excited about that. So I think that was cool. Like, as far as the movie's concerned from your part, like what's something that you felt like your favorite aspect of the movie? Like what is like when someone says, hey, tell me why I should watch Us, why should I love it? Why are you gonna say that?
Because, well, in general, Us is a movie where like we discussed before, everybody has a different perspective.
Yeah.
Everybody will have a different perspective. Like I like the biggest thing I like about the movie is the son Jason is up for question.
Yes.
Nobody knows
yes.
if he's.
Well, I think we're there with that.
Nobody knows if maybe he was switched because of his personality, and his family was saying like, you seem different from last year. He was saying weird phrases like "kiss my anus." Just it seems like he either knows something. I've heard that he's probably autistic, which I don't think he's autistic. I just
don't think he's autistic. Yeah,
I think he's just more of. I think he's been switched
at some point. You think so? But like, at what point would he have been switched? So they referenced the grandma dying the year before. So
and they were there the year before.
So let's assume he was switched. How could we make that make sense to the audience? Like what would have had to happen for him to be switched?
Well, it could be anything. Like either he was outside playing and Red swap Jason, and because his tethered has a burned face,
right,
and he couldn't play with, we saw him snapping.
He couldn't figure
in
out how
front of
to
the car.
use
that they burned his face because they say he was born into fire, so that could be he was reborn, as in that's her son now.
Right.
The only thing that I have with that is because it was a year apart and Jason would have been kidnapped, then he would have known that, that was his mom when he saw him. It would have been
That's
different.
true. I didn't even think about that.
But I still think that maybe the temper I don't know how a year of him not interacting or talking or anything like that would have influenced.
Well, so there's a couple interesting things with Jason, because one, the magic trick, and why doesn't he know how to do the magic trick? We never addressed that. And then also, like, why is he the only character who, like, mimics their tether? Or can mimic, like, he's got that only connection. Nobody else tether is connected to him in that regard, but for some reason that character is. And then, like, what the hell was the look at the end? I feel like I should just be, like, standing, holding, like, doing this review, holding this, but yeah, like, what was the character doing at the end? Like, when he looks at Lupita, or not Red.
And that was another reason why I felt like, that she knew, like, it's like she called on that's my son.
Okay.
Because she stood there and she kept saying, no, like, why would you say no? And that's the bad guy.
Right. And then also the way that she insisted that, like, you were mentioning about how she had to brush her hair back. Like, why would you, if that's your child, why would you have to show your face to know that that's who you actually are?
Or if anything, she could have kidnapped, which I don't think that would be possible, her kidnapping and helping out her son. Because, why would you do that to him?
Yeah, probably not. That's probably not. So I guess, you said earlier on, like, the movie's going to mean something different to everybody else. So I guess, what's the message to you that the movie means?
Doppelgangers are not cool.
Doppelgangers?
I don't want to meet my doppelganger. I don't want to have a lookalike anymore. Like, especially, I watched the interview with Jordan Peele, and he was explaining how, like, doppelgangers freaked him out. And he said, just imagine, like, standing, in the airport in a line or something, and you see somebody that looks like you, and they kind of lean over and just smile. And so, like, ever since then, I'm like, okay, I'm good. I don't need to know anybody who looks like me. I don't have a twin,
Okay, so doppelgangers are not cool. Do you think anything about, like, do you think it's more of a systematic thing, like an oppression thing in terms of status, or do you think it's more about...
I think it definitely shows the duality of America.
Okay.
Because you have, and I saw this in one of those little things that I watched. It was talking about how, like, take for instance the white family, who they have Ophelia, which is, like, I guess whoever we have, but Ophelia, he was telling them play the Beach Boys, which is a typical California beach song.
Yeah.
It shows the beauty of, like, California and how fun it is and all of this, and this is all Southern California. And then when they needed help, Kitty yelled out, call the police, and fuck the police came on. And so it shows how even, like, the duality of America and Southern California, just in Southern California period, how one part of America is this beach vibe and bumming and surfing, and then you have the other part where it's like police brutality and... Okay,
I can see that. I can definitely see that. I think for me, the movie really, like... I think it's like alter egos. Like, I think that's kind of my takeaway from it. It's like, there's a side of you that, like, obviously knows, like, all this privilege that you have and opportunities that you're given and whatever. But I also think, like, there's this other side of you that's always trying to get out, right? Like, that you push down, that's subdued, this you're part of the same soul. However, one comes to the light and one's in the dark, because that's what society tells us, like, to only show these aspects of yourself, and these other aspects go kind of underdeveloped or unnurtured or get no light. So I think that's something I kind of took away from it a little bit more than anything else. Yeah, and I don't know if that's, like, a personal thing, that why I would take it that way, but that's where I went with it. I know a lot of people did the whole, like, America system type thing with the cloning and controlling government and hands across America.
But to be honest, there are tunnels, abandoned tunnels under the country.
Why?
Except for Louisiana, because Louisiana already underwater. But like in California, there are underground tunnels. There are actual tunnels that are abandoned.
It's like, why are they there?
Why were they there to begin with?
Shit, that's what I'm saying. Why would we build tunnels to an underground world that we ain't gonna use? Unless we couldn't figure out how to provide enough substance.
I mean, DC and New York, the East Coast has it, and it's an underground system subways, so that's understood. But I think even here, they're underground. They're underground.
Could it have been they built underground tunnel because they were going to think about like doing like transportation, like, or do we think these tunnels works for another reason, like
for a reason? Now, like I know, and I don't know if this is actual truth, but there are places I know in Colorado where it's underground, but it's for like Congress. The president. So if we were under attack, they would go there.
That makes sense.
Their bunker.
Like a Fort Knox type deal. Yeah, I get that. That makes sense. However, I mean, I think overall, going back to the movie aspect of it, there were still some questions I think I would have wanted to have answered. Like, again, how did this whole cloning system start? I think that's obviously missing. Like, who's funding it? Why was it abandoned?
Government.
And what happened? You know, and how did it keep going? You know, if somebody travels, then how are you and your tether essentially traveling and meeting a new tether that, like, is this only a West Coast thing? Like, is this everybody's just in the West Coast? Or is this an America thing?
Because Red said something when she asked, "Who are you?" And she was like, "We're Americans." And I thought that was very significant too.
Well, that's probably all they've been told on the ground was they were Americans.
Because I think in this country, you have people that are, they come from an immigrant. Well, we are immigrants, but they come from like a typical immigrant family.
Mm-hmm.
But they were born here, and they're demanding the same rights, and it's like we're American too,
right?
And I feel like that's the same thing.
So
almost like a us versus them too. Like us as Black Americans, we're like, we Americans too.
So like other Black people, in the tunnels in this one, and now we're trying to come out and demand our.
Yeah, it's basically saying like, can we have the same rights as we Americans too? Like we American,
right? Right,
and it's the same thing, like, especially with all of the
minorities.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, I can see that. Anyway, like I said, guys, just wanted to take some time. We're at 12 minutes, 13 minutes. So I think that's good time. Bye.